This conference will now be recorded.
Now it works.
Welcome everyone to the ANCAN Kicking Cancer in Heels Blood Cancer Support Group. It is July 3rd and it is the eve of the United States birthday tomorrow, 4th of July. Yay! And I am Michele Nadeem-Baker. I am one of your moderators and I want to welcome you all. And for those of you watching this, the replay, we'll have all sorts of good things for you to watch. We have people here from all types of blood cancers. I am in Boston and I have chronic lymphocytic leukemia. And I'd like to hand it over to the person on the screen on the top closest to me, and that would be Lou Sears.
Hi, Lou Sears. I'm in the Kansas City, Missouri area, and multiple myeloma is what I have been diagnosed with for 12 plus years. It was 12 years in May. So, and I am 75 days out from CAR T, my third CAR T. So, and I'm doing really well.
Well, I look forward, I don't know if you need time later, but I certainly would love to hear from you when we go around to everyone. Okay. Jim.
Yes, hi, this is Jim Marshall. I am actually here for my sister Susan, who has multiple myeloma. I've got prostate cancer, but she is extremely bashful, so I sit in for her.
What a good brother. And would you like some time this evening, Jim?
Oh, I have a short update on her.
Okay. Barbell, glamorous Barbell in Germany.
I could maybe 5 minutes or so, just a quick report because I got some blood work back.
Okay. Judy.
I'm Judy Williams. I live in just north of Dallas in Frisco, Texas. I've had CLL for, this is my 10th year. I've had 4 treatments, fixing to start another treatment, and today would have been my 55th wedding anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'm glad you're here with us tonight.
Hugs from West Texas, Judy.
Thank you.
Judy, so you would like some time to tell us then about your treatment. Okay, great. All right. Hugs. Hugs from Boston and lots of love. Lynn in Texas, the other part of Texas. Are you close? Are you close in Texas?
3.5 hours or so. You're muted, Lynn.
Lynn,
thank you, Judy. Well, we're 500 miles from El Paso, and we're at least that far from Longview. So it's from one end of Texas. From El Paso, it's closer to California than it is to the other end of Texas, or something like that. CLL, no, SLL, isn't it? Or which is it? Under the microscope, it's the same. So diagnosed in 2013, that'd be 12 years ago, and I'm on a drug holiday, and I can probably take 2 or 3 minutes.
Hey, Mary Lou.
Hi, my name is Mary Lou Figure. I live in West Springfield, Massachusetts. I have MDS diagnosed in September of 2024. Excuse me, January 2024, and I had my stem cell transplant September 2024. I'm doing well. Still on maintenance, but doing well.
And
I don't need any time.
Really? No updates for us?
No, I'm doing the same thing I've been doing. You know, azacitidine and venetoclax. So.
Mary. Hi.
Hi. I'm Mary from Central Michigan. I'm diagnosed with multiple myeloma back in October of 2020. So I'm going on 5 years. And I'm pretty stable right now. Well, just got a miserable summer cold. That's the only thing to report.
It seems to be going around. Watch out, because a few of our members couldn't make it tonight because they've gotten really bad. Their colds, like
Well, I went into my primary care and reminded him I had cancer, so they gave me antibiotics, even though he said it was still viral, but just to make sure it doesn't
Antibiotics
get
don't
worse.
work for virus.
No, but I don't want it to get worse.
Hmm
So I had pneumonia last fall. I don't want to see that again.
That's bacterial often.
Yes.
and I may say, your hair looks terrific this evening, Mary, too.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, I'm glad
And
that you're being
Jim, your
careful.
hair looks wonderful too.
And the bird, that was perfect
Yes,
timing.
the bird is here again.
This was perfect timing. All right. Alexa, do you need time this evening to make any announcements?
I do not. Just we have so many groups and other great things. So keep coming back to ANCAN. Thank you.
Actually, it'd be great if maybe you can share with everyone sometime this evening when the next art class is, the next writing class. I think things that everyone can participate.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. You know, when you see things going into a lull or, you know, we're getting a little boring, please let us know. Not that we could ever be boring. All right. So, actually, Mary, do you need more time? Okay. All right. So, Judy, you said something intriguing. You said you're going to be starting a new treatment?
Yeah,
I thought
well, I've been taking the Perto and I'm into the 18 months. Dr. Want, and I do have some lymph nodes that are just barely beginning to enlarge, a couple of them on my right side. And because I've had Richter's, Dr. Awan is, he's very cautious with me anyway. And so he outlined uh, 4 or 5 things today. One of them, CAR T, which we're kind of saving for our back pocket treatment. He said that I didn't qualify for a lot of trials because I have had treatment for Richter's and over that. So that disqualifies me for many of them. So what we're going to do is, as soon as he gets the insurance, approval, and I don't think there'll be any problem with it, I will continue on pirtobrutinib. I will take a obinutuzumab starting as soon as we get approval. I'll have, in the first month, I'll have 4 infusions of that, day 1 and day 2, day 8 and day 15, and then 4 more over this. So over the 6 months, I'll have a total of 8 treatments of that, and then start venetoclax. When I was treated for Richter's before, and I had venetoclax too. One of the things was that my neutrophils stayed so low, and I had to have lots of Neupogen shots and things like that. He's saying that if on the full dose of 400 milligrams, if I'm not handling that well, then he will cut it to 200 and see how I do. And hopefully this will give me 2 or 3 years of remission, and hopefully take me into a deep remission, hopefully.
did he mention any of the new trials that are starting to open up?
Well, he outlined them. I have, let's see, there's one that's a ZE50, that's a BCL2 inhibitor. There's one BCL6 SGN, I'm not sure exactly what that is, and then a BTK degrader that is BGXY2. And then, of course, the one that Brian Hoffman is on, too. He tried to get me on that early on, but because I had Richter's, I don't qualify for the trial. But he said that, it may be that because of where it is in the trial, that he might can at some point try to get me off label on that.
The new BCR inhibitor. I'm sorry. Yeah. Would that be in combination?
No, those were trials he said that I wouldn't qualify for.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Because he listed, like the 5 things, but he said those trials I wouldn't qualify for because of being treated for the Richters and having the chemo for that and being over the Richters. But I guess evidently Richters in my past disqualifies me for several things.
For trials, but if they were approved treatments, then maybe, like you said, the one that.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, so is this the first time that you've had an appointment where you've had lymph nodes that have been?
Well, last year when I started pirtobrutinib, I had a lot of lymph nodes swollen in my neck. We just got through last week. I had a CT scan. I had a ultrasound on my neck, which was for my head and neck surgeon from the melanoma. She keeps a close watch on that, and so she had me have a neck scan. So he saw there's one on my right side that has gotten larger, and then he said there was also one in my chest that was larger. Not a lot, but he said with my history he still doesn't want me to get down, to a certain points. So I'm glad he keeps really close watch on me. So.
That's great that he does. So you would stay on Perto and then add in the obinutuzumab, you said, as soon as it's approved. And then when does the venetoclax get added on?
After the obinutuzumab.
Anyone else here been on?
Would you be receiving 3
Oh.
medications, Perto
Yeah.
and obinutuzumab and
Right.
venetoclax?
Yeah. The obinutuzumab, of course, will not be, I won't be taking all 3 at one time. I will have been through with and he said he didn't think that would be too bad a problem because I really don't have, and I've had Rituxan, which is in the same family before, a couple of different times. And so he said, I don't have a large tumor burden, so I shouldn't have much reaction to that.
Judy, can you remind us what your genetic markers are?
I have the trisomy 12.
Any others?
No, I don't think so. I don't have the TP 53. It's unmutated.
You're unmutated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you have that too.
Yeah.
Judy, are you also getting the IVIGA?
Well, I did. I was in the hospital with a UTI in May, and my IgG was low, and I from the blood test before that, and so while I was scheduled the next week after I was in the hospital to have IVIG. So I asked them if they could just do it while I was in the hospital, and they did. But the last 2 blood tests, it's still hanging at just barely, today's was just barely over 700. So we'll probably put that off, although he wants to keep close on that because he wants my immunity system to be well up there. So.
You were saying about how you needed Neupogen or Neulasta. when I added obinutuzumab to my acalabrutinib, I needed it. My things tanked for me with that.
Well, I asked him about that. I said, are you going to give it to me prophylactically? And he said, no, that, if I needed it, yes. But with my history, and when I took venetoclax before, I was taking it with a very heavy regimen of chemo. So my immune system was, at one time my neutrophils were 0.
Wow.
Yeah.
So will you please let us know when you start your obinutuzumab and how you're doing?
Yeah, hopefully by the end of the month or the 1st of August, it should be.
So probably by the time we see you again.
Yeah.
An outpatient, right? Oop, someone just joined
Yeah.
and left. Okay. Did we lose someone? I feel like we're one person less.
Well, George Ballard checked in with us and then he dropped off.
Oh, maybe he was going to the men's thing.
Maybe he was in the wrong meeting. I know. I missed, speaking of Rick was talking about a Gerry, but not our Gerry. Has anyone heard from Gerry or stay in touch with our Gerry from Michigan? Because he hasn't been here in a few months. And I know the last time he was with us, he had gotten some news from his doctor, right?
He had been having some infections.
Alexa, if you're able to share, and I don't know if you can, his email with me or with us, that would be great so we can reach out and see how he's doing. Share some love.
I can share his email with you, Michelle.
Okay. He had given it to me, but I put it in my notebook that I was using at the time, and I do by dates, except I don't remember what date. So that isn't such a good system after all. So, yeah, I would love to make sure he's okay. All right. Well, Judy, is there anything else? Do you have to go to UT Southwest to get your obinutuzumab?
Yes.
Is that far from you?
About an hour's drive.
Do you have anyone who can go with you?
No, I'll go by well, actually, that first week when I have to do 2 days, I have a close friend that's like family, that she lives about 10 minutes from the cancer center. And so I go down and spend the night there. In fact, I have the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, I have, or something right in there, I have 5 appointments in 3 days. Or no, 6 appointments in 3 days. And so I'm going to go stay at her house. And so I don't have to drive back and forth.
Well, the other thing is, I don't know if you'll be able to drive. From what I remember, I had to take some drugs prophylactically in the beginning, and an inordinate amount of steroids and also Benadryl.
Well, I've taken that before, and I had to take it for the IVIG, and also I take that when I have an MRI, and I have driven back.
With Benadryl?
Well, because I take the Benadryl, and if they give it to you IV, and I go, and then they pop that steroid in it, and I go, so it's like, it counteracts the Benadryl.
Judy, I didn't know you were popping uppers and downers. I didn't know you got down like that.
Oh, the Benadryl, it's like, oh, let me sleep. And then they give me the steroid, and it's like, oh, I'm awake now.
It's a lot of.
Well, I got Benadryl and steroids before my CAT scans because I was allergic to the contrast IV.
That's what I do for MRI. I'm allergic to the contrast for the MRI. And
Wow.
so I take that. I got all itchy. I itched like wouldn't stop from the contrast.
I had a rash from head to toe.
I didn't have a rash, but I was just felt like I was wanting to claw myself.
Gee, anybody else like that? Glad I'm not.
Can I ask Lou a question on her CAR T? When they were harvesting your CAR T, did you take a bridge?
Oh, you're muted, Lou.
You're muted.
Okay. I did bridging for 1 day.
What did you take?
It was just steroids.
Oh,
They didn't really want to give me any bridging, but because the trial said I had to have bridging, my doctor said, "Oh, okay, well, we'll do it for 1 day,"
oh,
because my numbers were really close to 10 on the kappa, and if it was below 10, sometimes even at 10, the clinical trial wouldn't proceed.
yeah,
So it got to 11, I think, but they still said I had to have bridging.
yeah,
And so he gave me 1 day of dexamethasone, and it did zap my numbers. It made it go down to a 9, and so on my kappa. So, you know, he said, "We're not doing any more bridging."
well,
But
So what do you mean when you say bridging? Is that like a transition from?
yeah,
it's yeah, to tap down, for me, the myeloma, so that it doesn't get out of control before they start the CAR T, because sometimes the CAR T, well, all the time, the CAR T, unless you're doing an allo, takes about 4 to 5 weeks for the cells to be reprogrammed. And during that time, a lot of people their disease will just explode, and that's what they don't want to have happen.
yeah.
You can't be too high and you can't be too low,
Well,
when you start.
interest, the interesting thing today, and I don't know whether anybody else has really looked into CAR T, but Dr. Awan said to me that he would bridge, if I decided to go to CAR T, that he would bridge it with ibrutinib. And I said, "Oh, can you do it with acalabrutinib?" And he said, "Yes, but it's not as effective." He said, "We have 80% effective with the ibrutinib and only like 20% with the acalabrutinib," which I found to be really different. So,
Wait,
Counterintuitive.
yeah.
wait a minute. I'm confused. So in the bridging, so this would bridge you as Lewis was
Well,
saying, but
he
you're
said,
on Ocala. But you're on Ocala.
he
So wouldn't
said,
your body be used to it?
he said taking that, he said the harvesting of the T cells was more successful with the bridging of the ibrutinib than with the acalabrutinib. Because like when I take my flow test, my T cells are like 16 and 17%. And so I asked him, I said, "Is that enough for, thinking about CAR T?" And he said, yes, that the, uh, uh, the, but the bridging with the ibrutinib would help.
Wow. And wait a minute. So you've had this tested, your T cells?
Oh, on your flow test, if you get a flow test, which I do pretty much monthly almost, they give you a percentage of uh, T cells.
I haven't had one of those in years.
Oh, I have it almost monthly.
Anyone else get those regularly? You do. Oh, wait, you're on a trial though, Judy, right? Are you on a trial or not,
Mm-mm.
Judy?
Mm-mm.
I
I've
couldn't
never,
remember when you went
I've never,
on.
I've never been on a trial. It's just because of the Richters. He keeps,
Mm.
really close. tabs on me, thankfully.
Oh, that is amazing. Does that mean that ibrutinib is more effective, period, than acalabrutinib?
I don't know.
But you said that's more effective for harvesting T cells,
Right. Yeah.
necessarily for bridging you to not have your disease flare.
Yeah.
And the definition of bridging, Lou, maybe I misunderstood. I thought that meant is that to keep your disease
Yeah,
from
it's
getting?
to keep it in check so that once you do the CAR T, that you don't have as big a burden for the CAR T attacking your cells. Because the CAR T, when they attack your cells, I don't know if you remember when Brian Kaufman had his CAR T at the first, he had a really
Yeah,
severe reaction to that.
I
And
do.
they've learned, to handle the CAR T a lot better.
Well, Lou, we're coming to you next since you were just speaking, but Gerry, were your ears burning? I was
Oh,
just like saying, where's Gerry?
I was with my other group. I just got the bicycling group, my other group. It's Thursday night's bicycling night and it's summer. So it's the heat of summer and everything. But Lynn, that chicken's going to kill you. That frog chicken's going to kill you.
Well, Gerry, I'm glad you're here. Even, it's okay to come after your bicycling, but we'll come back to you. But that is pretty amazing that, we were just talking about you and here you
My
are.
birthday today.
Oh my gosh. Happy
Happy
Well,
birthday.
happy birthday,
Second
Gerry.
birthday. My second
This
birthday.
isn't
4
isn't
years.
chicken.
4 years. Oh, it isn't? Shrimp?
It's pizza, but it'd kill me too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it has all the food groups in it. Pizza, vegetables, carbs. I don't know, depends if there's any protein on there, right? Or vegetables, more vegetables in the tomato sauce.
The cheese has
Geez.
protein.
There
The
you
milk
go.
product.
So Lou, please, 75 days post CAR T.
I miscounted 79 days post CAR T. And this is my third CAR T. Each of them were clinical trials. So, testing, when you talk about flow symmetry, I mean, all of those are a monthly thing, sometimes every 2 weeks. It's just depends on how the clinical trial is written. But
Right.
I had a bone marrow biopsy Friday, and it is zero point 0.2, so less than 1% of my marrow is myeloma or plasma cells. And so when I started in April 10th, I think, it was at 9.
Oh.
So it's 0.2 right now. So that's a good thing.
That's very quick for results.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also that way in the blood labs. It's also showing around 1% in the blood labs. So, for paraprotein, that number it was immeasurable at first. And then the last time it was 1.2. So I, was a little bit discouraged that it wasn't going, back to not measurable. But with CAR T, that's the thing about CAR T is it takes time sometimes for a full result. And I'm learning that more and more with different CAR Ts. I think the allo, it worked quickly and then went away quickly. The allo did not work for me. But this one is the quintessential clinical trial, and it is the GPRC5D that's expressed on the outside of the myeloma cell that this particular CAR goes after. So
So
anyway,
you
it's
take,
okay.
do you take other medication now that you're through?
Not not they refer to it for CAR. A lot of times you'll hear it referred to as one and done, and which simply means it doesn't mean that you have this and then you're cured. What it refers to is you don't have to go back in for weekly infusions or shots or anything until your myeloma starts to increase. So, one and done just simply means you don't have any further treatment as long as you're in remission. So, anyway, my numbers I'm considered to be in remission, and hopefully the one little paraprotein spike that looked to to be a little greater than it was the time before. My doctor keeps saying change over time. We look for change over time. You don't get discouraged because of one particular test. He looks at everything and he looks at change over time.
What is considered remission?
Whenever you have numbers, obviously numbers that are not measurable, like if you show no measurable myeloma, that would be remission. And since mine is 1 or below, the doctor still considers me to be in remission. It's not stringent remission. When you have nothing showing for any of the tests, in myeloma, then that would be stringent. There's so many levels of remission, what
Right.
I've learned. It can be
That's what
stringent, MRD negative, which I haven't had that yet. That test, I think that's done at day 100.
soon.
And yeah, so I don't know what that's going to be, but everything else is in the right direction. And even though I'm not stringent remission, I am maybe heading that way. We'll just have to wait and see.
Very close for
I
only a
wanted
few
to mention
months.
one thing for those of you that would, be interested. There's another bispecific antibody that was approved by the FDA yesterday.
I saw that.
And yeah, and some of you may have seen that. Linvoseltamab, linvoseltamab, LINVOSELTAMAB. So I have
And,
no idea how that's pronounced.
and what is that for?
It's a bispecific approved for myeloma,
Okay.
multiple myeloma. And it's been kind of in the pipeline with clinical trials, and people have said, I was on a presentation about presentation about ASCO with a doctor, Dr. Joe from IMF was on the call or on the presentation, as well as two other people who attended ASCO. And they were talking about this drug, and they expected it any day for the approval, and it was approved yesterday. So, what it does is it just gives another choice for bispecifics. But I have to say, what is on the horizon is trispecifics, and they're learning that if you can go after two uh, things on the
So,
outside of a myeloma cell, your chances of killing that cell, and getting the right target it increases. Well, a trispecific, it will go after GPRC5D, that target that this CAR T that I'm doing goes after, BCMA, which is very common on the outside of myeloma cells. And there's another one, I think it's CD8, or I'm not positive, but it's one of those that starts with CD. I should have written it down. But I can't imagine, the kind of results that they might have with a tri-specific. I'm excited to see what those clinical trials show for tri-specifics.
Well, Lou, this is great news about you. And of course, also thank you for sharing about the newly approved drug for myeloma there. But for you, was there something on day 80 you told us happens?
I think day 100 is when they do the MRD negative test. That's to see, what they, because it is such an in-depth test that they can see if you have any myeloma cells, with what they're able to test with right now.
Would it
Uh,
be biopsy?
do
Will they
what?
be,
Do they
will
have
they
the
be,
one for you 1 in 1,000,000 cells?
Oh, they can even go, yeah. I mean, it's like 10 to the fifth power or so. I mean, 10 to the 10. I mean, it's amazing how far they can measure to see if you have any disease. And
they do? So I'm
if you
just
have
going to say,
MRD negative, uh, that, I mean, that's awesome. I had it one time with another clinical trial, but it didn't last.
I think for maybe everyone here, I'm unsure with AML, but the rest of us, I think, aim for that as well, Lou, with our
Cool.
various blood cancers. Mary Lou, did they also go for that with MDS? That's what I thought. And Gerry with AML, is that what they look for, or is it different? Oh, did Gerry freeze?
Yeah, it looks like.
Gerry, oh, there you are.
I saw his mouth move, but I didn't hear him.
I know. Gerry, can you hear us?
Go ahead again.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Did they go
Bro.
for MRD for AML? Minimal residual disease, undetectable?
They can. I haven't had it. So when I went through the stem cell and everything, I didn't have anything. But they can they'll do a minimal residual disease and still send you through stem cell transplant. But the odds are not as good with minimal residual disease with the stem cell. And what they'll typically do with AML is they'll come back and then they'll put you on the really expensive drug I was on, which is depending on what variation you have, like the IDH1 inhibitors, they'll put you on that after to try to keep it low for the inhibitors. But I didn't have to do that.
I know, I keep forgetting that. I mean, we have people here who have done all sorts of types of treatment, from stem cell to CAR T. Mary Lou, you did stem cell?
Because they don't do CAR T for mine. Because they can't identify the protein, really.
So that's why they haven't done it
It
yet.
really is stealth. It's really stealth.
Huh.
I can't
Lou,
have a protein with mine yet.
Lou, is there anything else? So you have 21 days. So by the next time we see you, how are you feeling?
I'm really good. I worry about Sally, with her infections and things. I know for bispecifics as well as CAR T, infections can be a big issue. I know that a lot of people that I know that are in the support group here in Kansas City, after Carvecti, which is a CAR T, it is highly likely that a lot of them have gotten infections. And that's why I worry about Sally because of the bispecific. It's really hard to kick an infection because you're repeatedly getting another treatment. So whether it's a sub-Q or an infusion, it's ongoing with bispecifics. With CAR T, it's just the one and done as far as like treatment. But so sometimes the CAR T, could be a little easier on your system and you get a break after a while, so your system can build up and resist any infections. So I
CAR T
I think
scares
it's
me.
fine. Do what?
Lou, only you would say CAR T's easier. I mean, CAR T scares me.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah, it's not, I don't mean easier, you know, every time for every person. I have to say for me, the CAR T, except for the aloe, and the aloe I had crazy symptoms that cropped up, but going through those 3 CAR Ts were easier than going through the stem cell transplant. The stem cell transplant wiped me out, and it took some time to get strength back. So I, you know, after going through CAR Ts, I have to say that, I mean, in my experiences, don't count the aloe because I had a couple of things crop up that were unusual, but I would say it's easier to go through.
Well,
My
thank
biggest deal with Dr. Wan was saying is you have to have a caregiver with you for, 3 weeks or so. And I would have to have my brother come in from Tennessee and stay with me.
That's required, but it's, I mean, not necessary, I have to say. The first week is nice. David, of course, took over cooking and things like that, cleaning. But really, after that first week, I didn't really need, to have him 24/7 around, and but it's a
It's
requirement.
individual. It depends on
It's
it
a
depends on your
requirement,
reaction to it.
and everybody's
Everybody, for
different.
whatever reason, it depends. Everybody's different.
Yeah,
It's not
but
about what
for
we
me,
felt. Everybody's
yeah,
different.
yeah.
You can't
For
go
me,
by
I'm just
you can't
speaking for
go
me.
by
So for me, it was easier than the stem cell transplant. Now, the stem cell transplant was also you have to have a 24/7 caregiver for 30 days. So that
it at
that is
least.
necessary.
At least.
I have heard, I have to say, and I wish I had written it down. What I was reading is some of the requirements for Carvecti, some of the cars, has changed, and it was you couldn't drive for 8 weeks, and now they've changed. The FDA has changed some of those requirements, and it's 2 weeks is what I read.
Dr. Wan told me today 3 weeks.
Yeah, I just read that it's a new thing that they were talking about 2 weeks. So 8 weeks is a long time not to be able to drive. And I'm retired, and so it's not a hardship, when you're retired as much. But for someone who's working, trying to work, that is really tough.
or lives alone. Well, we all saw Brian Kaufman went through, as Judy had mentioned, a challenging time with CAR T. So,
But he was one of the first of the CAR T.
with that particular one, yes. But okay, wait. So, Judy, I'm trying to do something that would. So you mentioned stem cells. So let's go to Mary Lou. I'm trying to do a different kind of bridging. Bridging of the word. So Mary Lou, you are muted. I know you said you didn't have anything to share, but I'm just curious for stem cell. How long were you? I know you had a tough time.
The first 3 months were not pleasant. I had a lot of nausea and fatigue. But I had it in September, and by the end of November, beginning of December, I was feeling much better. I was able to decorate for Christmas, and I cooked Christmas dinner, so I was feeling much better.
And were you able to drive?
No, I still can't be out in public. I still can't be around people.
Right.
So it makes it very hard, but it'll be a year, September 13th, it'll be a year.
So not even with masking, you can't be out?
Nope, I can be outside and talk to people, but I have to have a mask on, yes. But as far as going to my niece's birthday party or something like that, no, I can't do that. So it's getting old, shall we say. Yeah. I'm allowed to eat out now because I can eat outside if, if the weather's good. So I'm able to do that, So it's getting a little more normal. I just had 9 vaccines done a couple weeks ago. So I'm getting my vaccines. So.
And COVID will kill you.
After you have the vaccines, then will you be able to be more in public with masking?
Yes, my doctor said that maybe mid-July I'd be able to go on vacation. So I can go away somewhere.
Okay.
Because I'm always asking, when can I do this? When can I do that? I feel like I'm asking my father for permission, But you do what you have to do,
Yeah.
Now, today was the first day. We're down at our beach house, and I actually went on the beach today. I was very well covered. I was in the shade. I didn't go down to like 4:30, and I was covered from head to toe, sunscreen and long sleeves. And I got a long sleeve bathing suit bottom, long pants, bathing suits, swim pants. And it was nice. I felt a little normal.
Oh,
Yeah, it felt normal.
that's
Sounds like your swimsuit came from the 1920s.
Yes. That's exactly what I look like. But you know what? You do what you have to do. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that part.
Yeah.
So after a year, can you be out in public?
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
I would think after
I start getting my vaccines, I should, it'll get better, So I get 9 more in September. It takes about 2 years to complete the whole regime.
Wow. No graft versus host or anything?
No,
You're lucky.
no, I'd have none, not yet. And I'm still in the clinical trial. So I have 2 more treatments of the clinical trial. And then I'm supposedly done. That kind of makes me a little nervous. Isn't that silly? But it does.
What kind of treatment are you having with that?
I'm having azacitidine and venetoclax. It's a maintenance dose. And I've been doing that since December 2nd. So once I'm done, I asked him, will I go on a pill? Will I go on something? He said, no, we're just going to watch you very carefully. Yeah. So I said, okay.
Well, that's what
Who was your donor? Excuse me.
Pardon?
I was going to say, who was your donor?
She's from Europe. She was from Europe. Yeah.
Do you know what part of Europe?
No, I have a feeling it's Germany. There's a lot of donors from Germany. Yeah, I won't be able to find out for a couple of years.
I was wondering if you and Gerry had the same donor. He had a tall blonde.
Yeah, his was younger. Mine was older. Yours was in the 20s, right?
Reached out again. I'm trying again one more time when I see my oncologist in 2 weeks to reach out and see.
Yeah, I reached out once to her because I said I could send her a letter of thank you, which I did, and I never heard back.
Right, same thing. I don't know whether they're allowed to or not. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because in the military, if they, I read that in the military they all kind of have to do the donor thing.
Right.
They don't have to donate, but they all have to test for it. And I hear spotty stuff of whether they get benefits and they can't contact you, and it's spotty. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I met someone who was a donor. And I don't know if, I don't know if when they sign up, they say, yes, they can, but she met the person she was the donor for, someone who had been in the military. So I don't, Gerry, I don't know if it's only people who say it's okay, if it's everyone. But yeah, that was a big deal for the donor as well. This particular one, anyway, that I met. So, but yeah, that I would think that would be really nice for both.
Yeah, the donors go through a lot. They have to have injections every week for, I think, a couple of weeks, because they have to build up their stem cells, because they're going to be giving you theirs, and they have to have some for themselves. So they go through a lot.
It's similar to when I went through AML the first time, when they were trying to, through the process where you go through the whole bleeding out, when you go through it the first time before stem cell. It's very similar, because they got injections and everything where they, they draw you way down, and then they try to build you up, and then you go through all the process where you go through this whole process where they try to let you build yourself up. Where I go through injection and everything, where they try to build you up with the same injections that they use for the donors.
Oh.
And so I know what they went through for that process.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I'm just seeing who else had wanted time. Of course, Barbell.
Well, I got my blood work back, and the hemoglobin is 13.5. So it really went up. But I still have some of these IgMs who are still there from the Waldenström. They cannot detect any CLL cells at the moment, which is good. But the Waldenström is still causing a little issues. But it went down. So I have to see, if my rash goes away once the numbers are down. I have an appointment again in about a week at the clinic, and they also do blood work there, so I see what they will say. But other than that, it looks really good. All my numbers are in normal range, but the Waldenström is now a bad thing. But after 8 years, I finally caught a second cancer. So yeah. But the good thing is it's also indolent, and it can also be treated with the same drug, as like the CLL cells. And it works pretty good. The only side effect that I have is hypertension a little bit. But normally I don't have hypertension, so it's really from the drug. So I'm taking something to lower the blood pressure. But that's about it, no other medications, just a cancer medication. And, well, I have to take the blood pressure medication as well. But, well, that's what happens when you get older, you start taking medication.
Barbell, I have a question. Is Waldenström's, can that be something that happens from one of the treatments that you were on before?
I don't think they really know. It could develop from the CLL cell, but it could also have been there already before. I kind of think that it was there already before, because I was treated with ibrutinib in my first treatment, which is also a BTK. And I think it might have kept it in check, because it really started showing up after they took me off the venetoclax. Because my problem was the venetoclax worked really good until I was down to 5%, less than 5% in the bone marrow. But my hemoglobin kept jumping up and down, 11, 10, 8, 6, and they said, this is not normal. Not for CLL. And I said, well, then I have another blood cancer. And the professor said, that's an interesting question. Well, and then it turned out that was the case. That's exactly it. That second clone, which was stronger than the CLL cells, was interfering all the time. And when they took me off the venetoclax, it really showed up. And the IgM level really went way up. They couldn't even test anymore. And Well, it was a bit of a surprise, but I caught it in time. I had just come back from the rehab, and I have a doctor come to the house, a GP. I have two GPs, and she takes the blood work, and she said, I cannot take responsibility for this. I'm not a hematologist, and so I went to the clinic for checkups, and they kept me right away. So I was in the clinic again. Last year, I was more in the clinic than I was anywhere else, you know. I think half a year or so. But now it's better. So I cannot complain at the moment.
You have a great attitude, Barbell. And you're right, you get a twofer with those drugs.
Yeah, I knew it already. They gave me a choice. They said they suggest, the professor said he suggests Brukinsa. And I had read before a study that it was very effective, and it's one of the newer drugs. So I said I will try it. But in the beginning, I did have quite some side effects. I had a lot of nosebleeds, which wouldn't stop for days, and I had some, but they went away after a while. So all I have left now is the rash, but that's not from the drug, that's from the disease. And it's really strange. I only have it around the calves and uh, not on the arms and not on my body. So it's just all on the calves, and it's really strange. You know, it like they accumulate there and cause rashes.
And
But I hope it goes away.
That's from the Waldenstroms, the rash?
Yeah, the IgM goes into the skin and causes what actually happens, that it doesn't peel like skin normally peels, and you get really thick skin on top, and then if it starts filling up with liquid, and it's like blisters, you know, like chicken pox almost. But I'm pretty good at treating it, I guess. But it keeps coming up. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. It depends all the time. But I'm just going down with the IgM, so maybe it will get better. We'll have to see. I need some patience, I guess.
Sounds like you need some chocolate. I don't know.
I love
Everything
chocolate.
better.
That's not a good idea.
Chocolate fixes everything, doesn't it?
Well, Barbell, I'm glad it's getting better. I did not know that about Waldenstroms and the rashes. That's fascinating to learn about, but I'm sorry you're going through that.
Well, on another support group, there is a woman who has something similar, Schnitzel syndrome, which is also elevated IgM, and she has the same problem with the rashes, but she has it all over, you know, everybody, everywhere, and I have it only on the calves, so on the lower legs, so it's a bit more restricted in my case.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Is it painful?
No, it's not painful. It looks a bit strange. It itches a little bit sometimes, and well, I put cream on it, but it doesn't want to heal. And what's really strange is I had once a small operation on the eye, and it healed really fast. So it's not the healing process, but these wounds, they just don't want to heal. You have red blotches there, and it's quite different, you know. So it must be from the disease, because I don't have any healing issues.
Maybe some of what Gerry found that helps his graft versus host disease. Maybe some of his tips can help with your blister-like rash. I don't know, because Gerry,
You're muted.
The red light.
Red light?
Yeah, the red light.
A red light.
Oh, you mean ultraviolet
Yeah,
red light? Yeah, I have that.
Red light.
Does that
Does
help
it help?
you?
Helps me all the
I
time.
have a lamp. I could actually try that.
You mean like the ones that the LED red lights or whatever they are?
Yeah,
Like
the red light,
masks?
near infrared and red light.
I have that. I have a lamp. I could actually try that.
You should.
Oh,
Would you
okay,
just
that's
go
a
to the
good
store and buy the
hint.
light, or does the doctor have to administrate it?
No, it's you can get them online at Amazon and stuff like that. But
Oh,
the red light,
they're cheap. I mean, they 20, 30 euros. I have a new one even. I used it for my ear because I had an ear infection,
I thought
and
they were
that helped also.
I thought they were a lot more than that. Oh,
Well, in
well,
dollars maybe it's more, but in
I was gonna
euros
say
it isn't.
the dollar's not worth a whole lot right now compared to the euro, so I don't know what that would be even.
yeah,
I
mine,
think I
mine was
paid
about
around the 30
$1,500.
euros. It wasn't very much.
Depends on how much tariff they tack on it.
Though. It's a whole body one, but
It's,
I'm
say
gonna
that
tell my
again.
wife, y'all. I'm gonna tell my wife that y'all are recommending red light therapy.
So,
That's
okay, so I have a question to those with the red light therapy. I've noticed there's like where I go take Pilates, there's something called, I don't know what it's called, but it's like you go in a room and it's red light sauna.
right.
Is that the
That's
same
what
thing?
Yep.
So it would be like your whole body gets red lighted?
Right. So the deal is some of these things are there's a whole red light. So it used to be like a tanning. You know how the tanning salons are, the tanning things. So they have a whole red light thing now. Those are like $4,000 for a whole body red light where you go and lay in it, but it doesn't tan you.
It's,
So
it's
Oh, okay.
different
it
wavelengths.
has a different function.
Yeah.
It goes through the skin and
Right. So it's about,
it enhances the blood circulation.
right. It gives you collagen basically. So it penetrates about 3 inches deep. And what it does is actually it stimulates stem cell
Oh, does
production
it?
in your bones, actually, as well.
Well, my bones
Any
are
on the
good,
disc,
but anyway,
any on the disc.
it's a good advice.
So they developed it. The story is what happened is it was invented by DARPA. And so what DARPA did is they originally developed it to heal eye injuries for pilots for lasers. And they developed that, and NASA took it on also, and they use it in the space stations for wound healing, and then they also use it for racehorses, for joints and everything for the racehorse industry, and then they also use it. Tour de France uses it for all the races, for all the bicycle.
I didn't know.
And then it started getting a big following, and what it does is it helps penetrate about 3 inches or so into your skin,
Mm-hmm.
and it stimulates collagen production.
Mm-hmm.
Skin, and
Good.
it gets rid of like it actually helps your eyes. It helps your gets rid of wrinkling, gets rid of the age spots on your body,
I need that.
and
I have some age spots.
it's a wonderful thing actually. And they really didn't have anything like this because LEDs didn't exist at that time earlier, and
I
they
didn't
thought,
know you could use it for age spots. I have a few
Yeah.
here in the face, here and there.
I used it all the time when I had graft versus host all the time because it really helped with the skin.
Uh-huh. I have to
Yeah.
try. I will report it if it works.
Well, I know that I don't know about what you have, Rebel, but I know that they make them like I see them all over the place on social media. They have masks that
Right.
like
Right.
they have like Velcro in the back. They have it like for hands and I've been thinking about getting that
Oh,
for
you can use it on the entire body, but
Right.
actually you should protect your eyes. That's what mine says. Protect your eyes, and they have a special thing that you have to put on to protect your eyes.
Eyelids. And what I found actually is it really helps your eyes.
We did.
As it,
Well,
for older
well, mine
people,
says I have to protect them.
what it does is it helps your eyes. It helps you see colors better as you get older,
Uh-huh.
and it helps
Well, my eyes are good.
color viewing as you get older. And so what I found,
Well, I'm already old.
so what I found is I close my eyelids when I stand in front of this thing, and I used to have floaters all the time.
I did
floaters.
have floaters, but they go away after a
It's
while.
like floaters. I don't have
It got
floaters.
rid of them?
Yeah,
It helps with floaters.
I don't have any floaters.
No.
None.
I had a lot of floaters. Before my first therapy, I had lots of floaters, but
So
I don't
they
have any
actually
floaters.
went.
No floaters.
So
I
Gerry,
have no floaters anymore.
No
you
more.
have one that stands up?
It's 4 foot. I spent like, I bought it. I bought it probably 4 years ago. I bought it from Australia. There's a whole thing on it. I could put the link in, but the guy, he's got all studies and all this stuff. So I bought it from Australia originally. It was about 1,400. Now it's about 1,700 because of inflation and everything else. But it's a pretty heavy duty device, and it's 4 foot. It fits on the back of my wall of my door, and I stand in front of this thing, and it's by different wavelengths. So I stand probably about this far away from it, about 4 inches, and
For how long?
and on the back of a door, I just stand naked in front of it without any, clean. I basically do it after I bicycle, and I stand in front of it 5 minutes, turn around, stand 5 minutes, try to stand around 5 minutes, 5 minutes. I do that every time I bicycle, and I go take a shower, and I do that every time I bicycle. So I do it about 3 times a week, and it's really helped. I mean, it's helped, and my wife does it now, and it really it's wonderful. And I
Neighbors
swear,
come over and do it.
one of the best things I ever bought,
Wow.
and it's great.
Michelle, the neighbors would come over too, be like group therapy.
Yeah, they come back. So I got this guest bedroom and this bright red light. Everybody's probably wondering, what the fuck is this guy doing? What kind of kinky things are they doing in there? Or, what's going on in there? It's just lights. It's a huge array of red lights. My God, what's going on in there?
You could sell admission tickets like they do at this place I was telling you about where you like
Oh,
this.
and wait till I see. Wait till I put on my mask. But I mean, it's the best thing I ever bought. Honest to God. Between that and the bed jet, when I had when they had the hot and cold problem, I don't have that anymore. But I mean, those two things were two of the best things I ever bought for this whole thing I went through.
Wow. So Barbell, sounds like it's worth, I mean, can't hurt, right?
No, I like the red light. I use it a lot, when I have ear aches or some other aches, because it actually helps the blood circulation. But I didn't know that you could use it for rashes. I will try if it works. I will tell you if it does.
Okay, we
I
want
mean,
to report. How big is your red light, Barbell?
about the bone stuff.
Oh,
It actually stimulates.
I don't know what it would be in inches, about this size, maybe.
There's all kinds of studies in
It's
there.
not very large,
There's more
And
and more
you're only
studies.
supposed to do it like 15 minutes or so.
Oh.
And keep it at a certain distance too.
So we had a thing with the BMT people that they had a gal that was really the research person for graft versus host, and I started talking about the red light thing, and she would start talking to me like I was a research person. I mean, and it was amazing, and all the groups looking at me like I was a research person and everything, and I mean it's really becoming a thing now because it's so new because people just don't know about it because everybody's doing it with a mask and things like that. But I was doing it for graft versus host because it really was working for me, and it was cool. I mean, it took basically 20 minutes of time, and all you got to really do it is like 3 times a week, and it helped.
Are they different? Like, is yours more powerful than like maybe the one Barbell got?
Oh
Or
yeah,
you said it had
it's based on distance and it's based on power. I mean, this is a bright. This thing is like this wide, and it's like 4 feet tall. So the problem is if you have this, you're doing every. How much time do you have? I can't make it. I don't want to spend a ton of time doing this, holding this across because it's over my whole body. I mean, I was having problems head to toe for me, for the skin problems and everything. So I said, what am I going to do? Hold it? Do I have hours to spend doing this? I mean, they make tables where, they had tables where you could do it both sides and everything if you want to spend, $5,000 or whatever. But this was kind of the most cost optimized what I could do for $1,400, considering how much money I laid out for cancer treatments and all the other stuff. I said, this is probably reasonable. And they basically had for me, they had I think it was a 30-day or 90-day money back guarantee on it. So I said, heck, I'll try it. And I never sent it back.
That would be helpful if you can put the link in the chat. That would be great.
Yeah. Let me see if I'll find it here.
And while you're looking at that, Lynn, you said you needed a few minutes you had a checkup, right? You are muted.
That's what it's telling me, that I'm muted. So, well, we were talking about other languages. I was using another method of communication earlier today. I don't know if anybody can interpret for me. Does did it da da did it? Does that mean anything to anybody? Did it da da did it? No,
Is
I
that
guess somebody
That,
have to speak in.
oh, this is sign language.
That's Morse code. Morse code.
Right, Morse code.
I'm a ham operator. I was tapping Morse code to a guy up in Oregon earlier today. I was wondering, Mary Lou, I think she was looking up. She's going to order one of those lights. Actually, I was looking at your face, Mary Lou, and I said, I don't think she's going to order one, and I'm not going to order one. But if I had graft versus host disease, I might.
On Amazon, they have like I don't know if you can see it, the one that says for the body.
I don't know if I trust, unless I knew the make and it was from the actual vendor. Because what if it like burns you or something?
It doesn't burn you. There's no burning to it. Here, I got
burn.
I mean, off of Amazon.
Here.
I meant off of Amazon, just that you don't know. Did you get yours on Amazon, Gerry?
No, I got mine from a guy that's been into this. He lives this stuff. This is from I'll put it in. He's from Australia, unfortunately, but hold on. How do I put this in the chat? Here we go. This is a mother of a message. I'm going to put the whole email in because you can follow this guy and do what you want. I'm not saying. Here it is.
The chat will only let you put in so many characters. Beyond that, it won't send. So you have to truncate your message.
Did it send? No, it won't send. Hold on. This is on cancer. So what he just found out was this is for people that have problem with mouth problems with XERO. So he does all the studies and everything. And he references the studies on it. Patients, neck cancer. Hold on. Short summary, blah, blah, blah. So I follow this guy because he's into it. And I've learned more from this guy than anybody else on it. Hold on. And this stuff's legit. The problem you got with a lot of the Chinese stuff, you don't know what it is.
Well, apparently, when I look at it online, that there is FDA approval for red light treatment of some sorts of
That's
disorders.
different. See, there's other stuff where they do photophoresis, where they have to tune the lights and everything, and then they inject you with stuff. This is different.
Well, while Jerry's looking that up, I'll go ahead and give my update.
Okay.
I've got, I'm scheduled on the 22nd to have a CAT scan of the chest area. I'm seeing my pulmonologist. Some of y'all may recall that I had pulmonary fibrosis, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which means it's from an unknown cause, but it progressed while I was on ibrutinib, and it stopped progressing when they took me off of ibrutinib, and and I'm also receiving a medication called Esbriet for that. But so anyway, and I was scheduled to get the CAT scan of the chest, the neck, and the abdomen, and two of those were for my cancer doctor, Dr. Wan, and I canceled those two. They moved everything when we rescheduled, and I didn't reschedule the two for Dr. Wan. I said, well, let's just go with the chest X-ray. We'll see if there's any enlarged lymph nodes in there, and then decide whether he wants another CAT scan, because it's just the economics of it. Let's see what it costs, because I'm on a new insurance and want to see what it's going to cost, and don't want to spend money unnecessarily. So anyway, that's the 22nd, and I'll see the pulmonologist on the 23rd. So it's about 3 weeks away, but I don't see a Dr. Awan again until October. And so I'm continuing. It's been over 2 years. I've been on a drug holiday, doing fine. I did get blood work done last week, and I will see them. No, I had got it done yesterday, and I've already looked at the CBC. Looks good. White count 7.6. The only thing is with SLL, I've never had an elevated white count, maybe 12 or 13, but the blood counts look pretty good. The platelets are a tad low, 160 on the platelets, but I've had platelets as low as 140 before.
My
So
platelets.
yeah, they kind of jump around, and of course with any kind of cancer, if it gets in the bone marrow, and mine was before, it begins crowding out, interfering with the production of your different blood cells, and can mess up your counts. I'm doing fine. My wife and I, we're going to treat it like it's a little vacation or a holiday. We'll go over to Dallas Fort Worth and eat at Papa Do's, and we might go by and see the grandkids. Who knows? But that's the update from here. Next month I'll have an update on the visit to the pulmonologist and the CAT scan. And let's see, this is so in 3 months I'll have an update from Dr. Wan, who I see once every 6 months.
That means he has faith if it's every 6 months that you're doing well.
That's right. That's what it means. Of course, your doctors always say, if you need me, if you've got any problems, let me know. I did get a note from UT Southwest that said, we have what do they call it, where you can communicate with your doctor? Well, it's basically email.
My chart.
And said my chart, but they said if you start sending questions that take more than 5 minutes, we're going to get billed for those.
And I don't know that Dr. Awan would do that anyway.
Yeah.
I've sent some since then. I don't know that they took more than 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, because I thought, well, I could send him this latest CBC that I got, but it looks good. And last time I did that, he said, looks good. So, of course, that's a medical opinion, not my opinion.
Mass General and Dana-Farber and Brigham and Women, they're all currently in the same kind of group. But they charge now the last probably year and a half, maybe even 2 years for even if you email them or on the patient portal and they answer you, or they refill a prescription, or you call and say, hey, I have whatever, UTI, sinus infection. You get charged now. It shows up as a visit, and so that they can charge your insurance. And I look at it in a way like, you know what? Lawyers and accountants have been doing this forever, you know, for, what is it, every
Yeah.
minutes or whatever. And so after I realized what was happening, because I was like, I wasn't in there on that day. I didn't have an appointment. I was talking to people, but then I was like, you know what? If lawyers and accountants can do it, consultants, why not doctors?
Can I charge when I wait? Can I charge for when I wait there for an hour when they're
Yes.
an hour and a half late?
Yes.
That's what I want to know.
Well,
You
I'll
know what I
take,
mean? You overbook?
I think
What's my time worth then?
yeah.
I
Well,
agree.
Today my appointment for blood was at 11 o'clock. I got it at 11:15. 10:15. I went up immediately to Dr. Awan's and I walked out of the office before my appointment time.
So how long were you there?
I saw him probably within, my appointments were at 11 and 12. I was leaving Sam's at 12:15.
Wow.
I had gone to Sam's and shopped and was leaving Sam's at 12:15. So, and I've done that a couple of times in his office, which is wonderful.
That's amazing.
The downside to this is there may be situations where patients really need to communicate with their doctor, and or they really should, and they don't do it because they say, well, I don't want to be billed, but they've
Right.
got something going on that's significant that needs to get treatment, whatever. And
Yeah.
y'all know what it's like if you go to a walk-in clinic, or that they don't always understand how to treat your disease.
No, couldn't go to one of those at all.
And yeah, there's a lot I could say, but I'm not going to. I have no idea if it's based on what insurance you have or they know. I mean, I don't know. But you have a great point there, Lynn. Because if someone did not have great insurance and that was happening, that wouldn't be so good.
Yeah. I also
So I
forgot.
used to go in and wait 4 hours for my oncologist appointment. It's by the time you go in, check in, the nurse sees you, the person sees you, the blood test, the nurse, but the PA, and you finally see the oncologist for 5 minutes. It's 4 hours. It's ridiculous.
Would think so too.
Yeah.
And I'd have
Would
to do
sure
that.
take
I'd have to do that 3 times a week. It's bullshit.
a book to read with a backup book to read.
I start trashing them on Yelp and the review stuff, and all of a sudden the director calls me, and all of a sudden I don't have the problem anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, before ours said if you've waited more than 30 minutes, check at the desk.
Yeah, but I used to bitch about that too. But I mean, it wasn't until you make it public, I'd say, hey, the doctors are great. The operation absolutely sucks. And you start tanking them on the reviews. And after you do a couple of them,
Anyway, that's the update from West Texas.
they had the head of QA call me.
I forgot, Michelle, to tell you also that I have dermatology problems again. I had in April I had a carcinoma on my neck. I mean on my jaw, and it's all healed up. But I went again, and they did deal. So I have another one on my neck. So continuously, I feel like my head and face, neck have been cut on so much that
Is
it's
that basal cell or squamous cell or?
it's squamous cell carcinoma.
Okay.
So does red light take care of precancerous cells, Gerry, on skin? Is that one of its claims to all the great things it can do?
No, I don't know.
I know that they, in the dermatology department, they have what they call a photosynthesis
Mhm.
or whatever, and I don't know exactly what that does.
Photophoresis, maybe.
Whatever. I just know that they have that. I haven't ever used it.
That's where they tune in. That's what Lynn was talking about, where they have to. That's the real high tech one. That's why they have to dial it in. It's real specific. You know, I got a question for you guys. I've been having a lot of sinus infections. I mean, I'm constantly getting sinus infections, and I'm trying to figure out. You know, I'm worried about running out of antibiotics that they're going to use on me. And I don't know. You know, I've done the nasal stuff. I've done everything the ENTs tell me about. You know, they say, "Oh, it's GERD." It ain't GERD. It's sinus drainage because I keep on getting these damn sinus infections because this weather bounces and everything. And I go to an allergist. I get allergy shots. I do everything I can, but I keep on getting damn sinus infections. And I was wondering if you guys get, because you know we're always compromised, kind of. And I was wondering if you guys get sinus infections a lot. So what do you do?
I've been getting them more and more. And my last one I call the sinus infection from hell because, as you know, PCPs only give you a normal course of antibiotics, which is not
Right.
enough. So then it turned into not only my sinuses, but my ears became blocked. And now I've had vertigo for 3 months
Yeah,
because of
I mean, yeah, you can't get out of
Mhm.
bed, and you get the tinnitus, and they give you the. They gave me another damn Z pack, and it goes away for 2 weeks, and they get the damn same thing again. So the question
See,
I've got,
it's strong enough.
well, so
and
yeah, my
I go to these
oncologist,
people, and I say, "What the fuck?"
Did you try the red light? I did that with. I
I
tried the
mean,
red light.
But you know,
I
I go to these people,
okay,
and
so
they're looking.
my oncologist prescribed Levaquin for 4 weeks.
Yeah, I've had
And
that.
I swear the 28th day is the first day my sinuses felt like they might be clearing. But like you said, I hate taking antibiotics that much because it's not only once a year this happens.
Right. It's kind of. I mean, and
What
so the
does work on sinuses, I read.
so
Michelle,
you know,
how often
Leva,
have how often have you had the IVIG?
I get it monthly.
You've been getting it monthly and it still didn't help your sinus infections?
I seem to get them. Well, I know why I got this one. This one is thanks to our puppy and my being out in the freezing cold with her twice a night in the winter and just not sleeping because she always had me up. Lesson, never get a puppy in the winter in the Northeast or anywhere where there's snow. But I do believe why this one, but usually I get them in the fall and I think it's from raking and I think it's whatever's,
the mold sport.
yes.
Well, so here's a question I got. So I used to follow this guy by the name of Gabe Merkin, and our parents used to listen to him. He's a bicyclist, and he's like 90 years old. And what he was saying was the problem is there's like a fungus that gets into your sinuses that they really can't, that regular antibiotics and everything can't really get rid of. And so what you need to go on is a low dose antibiotics for like 6 months that finally takes care of this stuff, that finally gets rid of it. And that's what he was suggesting. And I keep on bringing this up to the, because he's a doctor, and I keep on bringing this up to the doctors, and they keep on blowing me off. But I've been telling them this for years, and I keep on going through the same old shit. And they say, "Well, use nasal spray, use this," and I got that nasal irrigator, and nothing works. And I keep on saying, maybe this guy is right on
Did,
going long term low dose antibiotic because I never had this when I was going through chemotherapy. When I got out of chemotherapy and they had me on the antibiotics and everything, I had wonderful sinuses. I never had sinus infection or anything for a long time.
Which one did they say to take long term?
I'll look it up. I'll look it up in his archive.
What one? I'm sorry.
But I don't remember. But I'm beginning to think he might be right with it because he says it's like a so there's another company that I brought up because I went in again because I mean I've been having almost like once a month now. I go on this damn typical antibiotic. It goes away. I get cleared up, and then 2 weeks later I get the damn thing again, or 3 weeks later with this weird weather we're having, and the weird weather. And it seems like it's worse since global warming with all this high low temperatures and everything with sinuses or barometric pressure. And I'm just, they keep on bouncing me around on antibiotics. So they give me short course antibiotics and it keeps on coming back. And then they said, well, we're going to have to send you to your GP again. And I thought, well, she knows nothing about this.
Well, I'm going to a sinus specialist in 2 weeks. I'll let you know in the next meeting what she says.
Because this is weird. I'm tired of this.
I will let you know. I do know the dermatologic oncology, the dermatologist specializing in oncology patients at Dana-Farber. This is not related, but it is on the antibiotics. At one point had me taking doxycycline lower dose for many months because of the various skin reactions. So I guess it can be done, antibiotics that way, if you look at it that way. So I'm surprised that they don't think of it that way for your sinuses.
Yeah.
If they do it for your skin, for topically.
They also do it for UTIs. They have people on low dose to keep from, people that are prone to UTIs.
Because I was just wondering if you guys, I mean, because we have similar situations for this stuff. Because you're immunosuppressed, even though you are supposedly well, you're still not 100%.
It's probably a big part of it. Gerry, how are you other than that?
I'm still not over the pneumonia stuff. That's still hanging out.
I hope that's not what Sally has or ends up with.
Shit, I'm going into my 7th month with this. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Still. I ride and it's like I've got the plague still. In the mornings, it's just hacking and hacking. It's like I still never got over it. And there's nothing they could, they just, nothing they can do. They said you'll get over it at some point in time. And then it's weird. I watched this, they had this movie on Netflix of this guy that caught pneumonia, this young Nazi agent who was a deep undercover. He was a national hero in either Norway or Sweden who had got pneumonia when a young kid. It took him 2 years to get over it for the pneumonia. I'm sitting there going, Christ, is this me? But it's weird. It's just in the morning, really, or when weather gets cold.
What if it's
what it is?
Sinus thing is related to that.
And I come back and they do the breathing test. They say, your breathing's fine, but it's still related to all the sinus crap. You know what I mean? All the stuff drains down at night. And you have the hack fest in the morning. But other than that, I'm fine. But it's weird. But other than that, I'm good.
Other than that, oh gosh. Well, I'm glad that you're good. I'm not happy to hear the other, though. That's not good. But you're lucky that you still are out doing cardio, because that is good for your breathing.
I started strength
Gerry,
training, and I hired a Russian. I hired a Russian guy. Actually, he's kind of a, he says he's Russian, but he's actually Ukrainian, for strength training and everything. So I went back to him. I stopped him pre-COVID when I came back off a stem cell transplant right after when I started feeling better with stem cell, but then COVID hit, and so I started training with him again, and he's getting me back into shape, and it's really working well because I had a hiatal hernia, and this guy actually kind of made it go away because I was going to go get surgery, and the doctors were saying, well, we really don't want to cut you, we don't want to go in because you open up a whole other things and everything. So this guy had me working abdominals and the hernia started going away. He tightened up all the muscles and everything because I just lost all of my upper body strength and everything, and worked it and made the hiatal hernia go away, or at least much more manageable, to where I don't have to go for surgery.
That's great.
So, good.
Sounds like
Gerry, how long do you ride your bike every day?
I rode this morning for 34 miles.
Oh,
oh my gosh.
I averaged about 16.9 miles an hour.
so
You
do you
do
have a
that year?
bike?
Pardon?
Do you do that year round?
No, I don't do. I can't do it in the winter anymore. That's what got me the damn pneumonia. I was out riding
Yeah.
at 20 degrees,
Is
and
that
I was
isn't
riding
that
every other
correct?
day at that temperature, 2.5 hours. I think that's how I got sick. So I'm not going to ride in the winter. I'm not going to ride at that temperature anymore.
Is that a regular bike or electric bike?
But it's still, you have to pedal. You have to work out pretty hard still. But it's assist.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I could see not going 60 miles an hour with the regular
See, the
bike.
Lou has her hand up. She want to make a comment.
Ooh, you're
Lou?
muted.
Yeah, I can wait until Jerry's done.
But
I found information that
I'm trying to get back into it again.
Gerry, that's pretty cool. I don't ride a bike at all anymore, but that's amazing that you ride that
I ride
far.
like 3 times a week now. I only ride like 3 times a week. That's all I can do. I can't recover fast enough anymore. I'm going to be 68 in September, so I can't. I just don't have the recovery anymore. I used to ride like 5 days a week. I was riding like 7,000 miles a year. I just can't do that anymore. So I'm
Wait,
trying to
so-
get to like 3,000 miles a year.
And you said this is your other birthday today.
Yep.
Is that your stem cell transplant birthday?
Yep. Stem cell transplant birthday. 4 years. So I'm trying to go to the 5th year because 5 gets you 10. So the saying goes.
Well, congratulations on that.
Went out and got whole grain, multi-grain pizza. Got a healthy pizza. Blue.
There's Barbell. We lost Barbell, but she's back. Jim, we haven't heard from you yet.
Lou had her hand up. We want to let her.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lou. I forgot. Sorry. Tired.
That's okay. Just real quick, earlier when I was talking about the tri-specifics, I didn't have the information in front of me from the ASCO conference thing that I attended virtually. The 3 areas that it addresses on the outside of myeloma cellular targets, it's CD3 and BCMA and GPRC5D. The most important thing that they said, 100% response rate.
Whoa,
It's given once every 4 weeks. It's 100% response rate,
that's
which is
wonderful.
amazing. So that's why I was excited about tri-specifics. I just wanted to fill in what I did not know earlier. So
It's very thorough of you. Thank you. Yeah, I did see that in the news from ASCO, and it was very exciting. I'm I'm crashing out on energy here, so my brain's not functioning as well as it usually does. That was great, Lou. I know. Let's hope there are no side effects, or they can figure out a way to have one that doesn't.
well, I think because it's given every 4 weeks, the side effects are not as severe.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Jen, you said that you had a little update for us, but I can't hear you, and you're not muted,
Not,
which is
not muted, so there's something, maybe his mic's not plugged in or,
There we go.
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and when the mic was muted on the remote. Okay, my sister, yes. Um, multiple myeloma now for a number of years, and it got into her spine and it traveled into the brain. So she had the surgery, and they got most of it. Then they did 5 days radiation, and then she was on chemo for I don't know how long. I don't think it was that long. And the report is they can find no trace of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
And
wow.
and the doctors are amazed, but actually what she's been over the years is treated for the first one was a hepatitis C interferon way back in the 70s or so. She's had breast cancer, she's had skin cancer, and all of the treatments and all of the drugs for all of those things. And now she's got this. And so at this point in time, she was going off treatment last week, I think she said. So we'll see what happens.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Sounds like good news.
Hmm.
That's
Very
great.
encouraging.
And then for me,
Unless,
I'll give you my update. Prostate cancer just happened to go over 8 years. I stopped all treatment 3 years ago, and I've been on a treatment holiday now for just exceeded 3 years, which is nice to
Good.
do, but um, it's just starting to move up a little bit. And with the PSA, it hasn't gotten to point 0.1 yet even, and it's been between 0 and 0.1 now for over a year.
That's good.
So
That's good.
that's good.
That's
But we'll see what
awesome.
happens.
Will you
That's
do
it.
Lupron shots if it gets above?
Well, actually, that's an interesting thing. Yet, well, I was on that. Okay, I was on the Lupron and the other drug, abiraterone, which will shut down your adrenal glands because adrenal glands can influence testosterone. But because of last year, I had a triple bypass. I happen to point out to the doctors that, hey, Lupron says it's not very good for the heart. Abiraterone says it's not very good for the heart. But within and with the Kaiser system, they will not refer you out. So I went to the VA, and I'm a veteran. I'm a disabled veteran. And it turns out I'm 300% disabled,
Oh, wow.
decrepit, which,
disabled 3 times over.
Hmm.
well, not exactly, but you get paid about 135% of 100%.
Oh,
Oh,
And So I went to the VA doctor, who is the same thing. Oh, I can handle that. So I outlined all of the drug information and all of the um, uh, gotchas that they tell you, and I fit every gotcha. And so he looked at that, and I said, well, just so happens over at Johns Hopkins, there is a genitourinary medical oncologist who I know is crackerjack. Could I be sent over there? And so they did. They referred me out, all expenses paid, and I'm currently over there under her care.
Oh,
Do they
good.
even pay for your food if it's all expenses paid?
Well, if you travel, now they,
Yeah.
my travel over there is only like 8 miles at 41.5 cents if I choose to do that. But if it was a long trip, yes, it would be food, hotel, etc.
Wow, that's
So
incredible.
So is you're disabled from being in service or
yes,
after service?
well,
It
it
was,
can be a combination of both. It can be because of the Agent Orange exposure way back in 1970 to 1972. Prostate cancer did not crop up until 2017. But so it is thought that it was the cause. And
oh,
also the heart disease, coronary artery disease, is also attributable to Agent Orange. And it's also for the PACDAC folks who were in Southwest Asia.
Hey,
And
Michelle.
is that like in the Philippines?
no, it isn't in the Philippines, although there is a deal that if you can contend you were exposed to then toxic materials, and it depends on the toxic one, and is there a link between it? And that's the thing I do within and with the veteran support group I run. I try to make the service connection between all of the assignments they had, because most of the military installations um, have been are EPA toxic waste sites
Oh, okay. He was
with
at, my
Wow.
all
brother was at
what?
Subic Bay. My brother was in Subic Bay on a ship.
Oh, if it's on a ship is then even worse for the toxic
Jim, would you
materials.
put your email in the chat for Judy?
Oh,
Because I
sure.
think she probably has got some more questions about that. Michelle, I just want to ask real quick, did we go through everyone who needs time?
I didn't realize I had turned, hold on, my camera's off. I just realized that. Yes, I'm looking around and yes, everyone, Mary said she didn't need to say anything, but Mary, would you like to share anything? No?
No. Okay.
All right.
Judy, I see you have your hand
Michelle
up.
has not shared.
Oh, I'll share next time. I'm crashing
Mhm.
out here because I
Yeah.
had my infusion today.
What's up,
And
Judy?
for some reason, it exhausted me today.
I was trying to get it.
But anyway, so we'll see everyone same time, same place.
Mhm.
I'm trying to see the date. Let me look at it. It is on, let's see, August 7th. Thank you. I know today's a tough night. I know the fireworks were here tonight. And I know other people maybe had that. And one of my friends is not happy with me because I missed her party to watch the fireworks. But hey, you all, seriously, you all come first. Can always be another party. And it isn't
Right.
always Thursday. So
Exactly.
We got to all spend it together.